What were some stories you remember about your father?
Camping.
Like what? What about camping?
Well, I remember that he loved camping, and he loved taking us camping, and we had a big tent that slept six, 2 rooms, so 4 boys were in 1 room and one guy in another. And I just remember how much he enjoyed it, how much we enjoyed it, and he took lots of pictures.
Where would you go?
Well, we went to where you camped, up in Papoose Farm. We went up to Bay of Fundy.
Bay of Fundy, oh.
Yep,
Did you like camping, Annette?
yeah.
Well,
And we went with Carlene and Ray and their
Oh.
family
oh,
and the Johnsons. So it was a group
Oh.
camp. I don't think we would have, your father would have been a natural camper. But he enjoyed the challenge and got to like it.
did you cook over a fire and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Coleman stove a lot, right? Didn't we have a Coleman stove, or did that come
Oh,
later?
yeah. And we had and he built me a kitchen.
Right.
Camper's
Camper's
kitchen.
kitchen,
Campus
yeah.
kitchen.
Oh, I've heard about that.
What was that like? What do you mean? What's the?
Well, it was a wooden thing that sat on a table.
You got the plans on
And
the
it had,
top of
you
the
put a
side.
little drawer in it
Oh, yeah.
and shelves so to hold our coffee pots and our cooking utensils and our silverware or camping wear. And,
You mean to stay at the
and
house or
the
you take
door
it
came
camping?
down and you used the
The door
door
was
as a shelf
counter.
Oh.
yeah.
counter. We had a lot of campfires with the kids. And we'd send them for water while we wanted a rest, remember?
Yep.
You
Send
know,
them for
take the
water?
pail to get
Always
water.
getting water.
We had an 8-man canvas tent that weighed like 250 pounds.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, 8 men. I thought it was 6, but you're right.
it was 6, wasn't it? Well, I guess you could have slept 8.
Jeff, did you have to carry it? Is that why you remember how heavy it was?
Just to get it in the back of the car was hard enough.
It was a huge bag.
Yeah, and it took a long time to set
Yeah.
I remember Russell Jenkins carried it on his back all the way up to Rocky Narrows.
Oh my God.
What for?
We were camping up there.
She never knew that.
Yeah. No one else would carry it.
Oh my gosh.
I can't imagine.
Rusty Jenkins.
Oh my God. He's a little guy too. He wasn't a very big guy. Wow.
So, Don, what stories do you remember about your father?
Workshop. The workshop?
Yeah, the workshop, mostly the camp.
Up at the camp.
Up at the camp. Yeah.
Like what? What do you remember there?
Just, he liked fishing, water skiing.
Yeah.
He
Running the
take us
boat.
water skiing.
So you had a motorboat or something? Is that?
Yeah, my grandfather did.
Oh.
Yeah. And we used to use that to go water skiing.
You water skied with your father? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. He drove. I do remember him water skiing.
No. No way.
He'd drive the
He
boat
never
and
He
you.
walked.
didn't, because of his punctured eardrum. He was always afraid to, he didn't even swim.
Denny did.
Jenny did.
How did he puncture his eardrum?
I don't remember exactly whether it was an infection or what. But they wouldn't take him in the army because of his punctured eardrum. Until he became a doctor. And then they wanted him.
Oh, okay. Did he serve in the army?
2 years.
Oh, when was
Where
that?
Don was born.
Fort Lee.
In Virginia, Fort
He
Lee.
enlisted.
Huh?
Did he enlist? He must have enlisted. It was only 2 years.
Well, he knew he had to serve 2 years,
enlisted.
once he got his MD.
I see.
So you lived on the base?
Yeah,
What years was that?
53 to 55.
So, Jeff, what do you remember about what's the story about your father?
He remembers in Fort Lee.
Yeah, Fort Lee, and even before. Vague memories of Quincy, maybe? Or
Quincy?
Well,
What's,
yeah.
maybe Mattapan.
Mattapan.
what, Mattapan is where you lived? What do you remember?
Oh, just
The location, huh?
The location, the neighbors, there was a girl that I used to be friends with.
You must remember Quincy too, Joe. With Judy and Polly came down and babysat. Remember?
I can't
Vaguely?
quite remember that.
We lived upstairs in the apartment. No, I guess you were too young.
Well, what stories do you remember about your father, about interacting with him, what he did?
Oh, I have to.
Cameron? Thank you.
I think we've run out of
I'd have to think about it.
recollection.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell us something that you remember.
He liked photography and he
That's right.
spent a lot of time in the dark room.
What did he like to do with the pictures?
Everything and anything.
Like what?
Christmas cards. He was very creative.
Uh-huh.
Animation.
Animation.
Monsters.
Yeah.
What's that? Monsters? What do you mean by that, Don?
He used to buy monster magazines and take pictures of the monsters in the monster magazines and make Christmas cards out of them.
That's funny.
Excuse me.
Huh. For Halloween or something? Or
He
just
didn't
for...
mail them.
He didn't?
We had pictures of you boys every Christmas, starting with Jeff,
With a monster.
then you, then Dave, then Larry.
Like the ones where each of your boys' heads would be in the middle of an ornament. So
Yeah.
their head would be an ornament on the tree
That's right.
or something
Right.
like that.
Right.
I remember seeing that one.
We have those around.
He
Yeah, I
did trick
remember seeing that one.
photography. We had like
Yeah.
two of us and
Oh.
Yeah, side by side.
Oh, that's
Right.
clever.
He would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I saw a picture of him
You
doing
have
this
all-
levitation thing. Was it with Shep? Like on this,
What do you do with them?
or like a stiff body on top of a chair or something? Did you see?
I don't know.
I don't know whether anybody.
But you know the picture?
I can't imagine.
Oh, is that the one in his album?
Yeah.
It was one of his friends.
Yeah.
And he's laying between two
Yeah,
chairs.
yeah.
That's in an album of your father's that was a lot of pictures of his friends and crazy
Yeah.
things they do and
Annette, what's a story that you remember about Harold?
Oh, please don't get me started. No, I'm not into that, Carol.
How did you meet him? If you-
At the hospital, CMG in Lewiston. He was working there summers after Bates closed, because he was waiting to get into med school.
Okay.
He had been accepted.
No, he was not accepted till he changed his name.
So he applied under Lifshitz, and then that whole year got in nowhere.
Right.
And then the next year he applied under Lee and got into the same schools. Isn't that something?
Isn't that terrible?
That's incredible, just incredible. What school was it that denied him and then accepted him?
Boston University.
Boston University. Jeez.
And it was one of the professors at Bates that suggested to him.
Did he change his name? Wow.
Yep,
And did you date for a long time before you got married?
all through medical school.
All through medical
He
school?
was in Boston, I was in Lewiston.
Oh,
Yeah, I would go down for dances and so forth.
oh. What were those like?
Fun. Fun. I met all his classmates and
How'd you get there? Train?
trained. One time, Dr. Goodoff, who, my boss, was going down, or said he was going down, he drove me down.
Then he drove you back?
And that was when the turnpike had just opened.
What was your wedding like?
The wedding was at my folks' home in Buckfield. Very nice on a June afternoon in Maine.
Was Harold's whole family there?
Yeah. His family, no.
No.
Dorothy was there. Sylvia was there. Frank Tarr, and Jeanette. Pratt.
And Jeanette.
Chef
Frank.
Nancy worked there?
Shep or Shep?
Shep stood up with Harold, and Darlene stood up with me. Judy was only 10, 11.
Wow.
She was born in 39, we were married in 50, so.
Huh.
But she was only 12 when Jeff was born.
Wow. Wow.
Your wedding dress was blue, right? Was it blue?
Yes, light blue,
Light blue.
Huh.
with a white hat.
Downstairs, I think.
With a white hat. Huh.
It's in a box
Box downstairs,
downstairs.
yep.
Huh.
Who were your attendants?
Shep and Caroline.
So, do you remember how Harold proposed to you?
No, he just assumed we'd get married.
Leave it to a man to assume.
After 5 or 6 years, you know.
Right.
Well, that's logical.
So was it once he graduated from medical school, then you
Yeah,
could
we were married the next week.
Is that right? Wow.
How times have changed.
But didn't you have to plan it, or you started planning while he was in
Started
med school?
planning before.
Okay, okay.
Back then didn't take much planning,
No,
though,
it
did it?
didn't.
No,
Right.
it didn't.
How many
like
people
this
were
today.
at your wedding?
Oh, maybe 35, 40 people. Relatives, mostly.
Is your guest book down there too?
That, Dawn, I know, has my scrapbook somewhere.
Your scrapbook or your guest book?
Both.
You saw that last year, right? Didn't you?
No, you didn't. I want the one with the pictures in it.
What,
And it's a wedding album that you had, I know, to take some pictures, copy the pictures. So it's somewhere in your storage.
what do you remember about when Jeff was born?
Remember, I was in a hurry to get to the hospital.
What happened? Where were you?
I had him before the doctor got there.
Really?
He lived right next door to the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I could have had 10 babies for anybody who wanted one. I had them so easily.
oh. So you had the kid before the doctor even arrived.
Yeah.
Get out and you.
And was there
I'm sure one of Harold's classmates, an intern, delivered Jeff.
Okay. And was it an easy delivery, or was
I was out of it. You know, in those days, they put you out.
Okay. So did it take like an hour, half hour? Do you have any idea how long it was?
Half hour maybe.
Oh.
I believe he was already crowning by the time I got to the hospital.
Wow.
Then you'd wake up and they'd say you had a boy. Here.
Yeah,
And it is-
four times.
And what do you remember about when Don was born?
Same thing.
I was gonna say. it was
No,
like-
we were in Virginia at the Army Hospital when
Yeah.
Dawn was born.
Oh, and what happened with that birth?
They induced me because I had him so fast.
Oh,
Put
okay.
me in a room,
Okay.
and I started having contractions, and they ignored me. And finally, a nurse went by, and I said, "You better check me." Rushed me into the delivery room.
Wow.
They would not let Hal into the delivery room. He stood at the door, which is so different from now.
Yes.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, when Kelsey was born, my father was shocked that they,
And so
Yeah,
yeah,
so did
let him in the room.
they delivered
When
Dawn.
mine were born.
and Don
Told Hal he had another son.
was Don a quick birth, or how long
Yeah.
did that take? Half hour, hour?
Yeah.
And you were out? You were out again?
Not as out as I have been, but I was aware. Oh, I know why, because I had a spinal with you.
Oh, really?
The first time I had ever
No
had a
kidding,
spinal.
wow.
So I knew what was going on.
Oh, I thought it was so ether days back then.
Yeah.
Huh.
And how about when Larry was born?
You thought I was a patient.
She was exhausted. She didn't remember anything.
I don't remember. I do know we had to stay in the hospital 5 days.
Oh, why?
And one, I think it was with Larry, I looked out the window and Hal was standing there with Don and David and Jeff down on the floor, 'cause they wouldn't allow the kids in those
Right.
days. And I waved out the window to them. Do you remember that at all? but,
Which hospital was Larry?
huh?
Same hospital?
Yeah.
But
Mass
what-
Memorial,
Yeah.
Massachusetts Memorial Hospital.
Why did they keep you for 5 days?
They figured you needed it.
Oh,
Yeah,
so that was the norm at that
Yeah,
time?
right, it was.
They wanted you to rest up before you became completely exhausted.
Now, when my mother had babies, they kept you in 8 days.
Right, they leave-
Wow.
now you're lucky
And how
if
about when
it's
Dave was
night.
born?
No kidding.
Yeah,
The same.
half a day.
5 days again?
Rushed into the hospital, 5 days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They tried to push me out.
And what I remember about that was my mother came down and stayed with Jeff and Dawn.
Okay.
Dawn was what, 18 months old? And when I came home from the hospital, I walked in the
Because of
apartment
hurricane, they wouldn't let me
and
come
Mother
in.
was holding Dawn, and he gave me the strangest look, as though he had no idea who I was. See, I've been
Oh.
gone 5 days.
And he'd never had you gone before?
I always remember that.
Why were you carrying a baby?
Yeah, who is this who's replacing me?
Right,
His
right.
look was like, who's replacing me as the baby
Right.
in the family?
Right,
Well, that was with Larry or Dave?
Dave,
Oh, Dave's,
Well, you weren't very,
Younger,
couldn't have been very
older?
old.
18 months.
okay, Dave's
That's
third.
probably why.
Yeah.
He was still an infant himself.
And
Yes,
what
it was.
what do you remember were the first words of each of the boys? Do you remember anything like
I
that?
don't remember. Carol,
Okay.
they were all early talkers.
Oh,
I remember David called spaghetti guppy. Guppy,
Yeah, okay, I remember that.
that's funny.
but I don't remember anything else specific. They were all early talkers. They talked before they walked.
Really?
They were slow walkers.
Cameron's teeth came in later than a lot of kids, and I guess Jeff's did
That
too.
runs in the
Did they all
family,
come in later?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The question is did they potty train fast?
Once Larry was born, they got trained fast. I was doing diapers for 3. By that time,
Gosh.
okay, it's time.
They didn't have Pampers.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Cotton diapers,
You could spend all day just changing diapers.
oh yeah,
Just washing them. Ugh.
I know.
I had a washer and a dryer. Because I told you the story. Mother told me her back killed her in her older years. Because she washed diapers for 3 in the bathtub.
I used to do that with Danny, for Danny, wash them in the bathtub,
And then
bleach,
hang them up
gluing,
to dry.
washing and hanging them on the clothes rack.
Yeah.
When our grandchildren were born, they were in an apartment with a coin-op laundry.
With a what?
Coin operated.
Coin-operated laundry. And Danny kept a spring water bottle filled
Full
with
of
change.
quarters.
And he was constantly downstairs washing the 4 grandchildren's clothes.
And diapers.
They were in cloth diapers?
At first
For a
they
while,
were, yeah,
yeah.
I mean, the
Because they were
Pampers
so
were-
little.
They were so little, the Pampers didn't even fit.
Fit, yeah.
Yeah.
Greg was
like that
allergic,
too.
Greg was allergic to them,
Really?
yeah.
Mm.
The
Yeah, when
Pampers.
Jordan came home, the preemie diaper came up